What is dangerous to forget? That you're not immune to propaganda. The amount of people who think they're too smart to fall for propaganda is scary AF. Those are exactly the type of people who are good propaganda targets. Sure, you might see the simple stuff, but anything worth its shit, it's getting you. That the beautiful wild animal is still a wild animal. But cheetah look like big kitty. And bear look like fluffy dog. Bears break my heart. They're so adorable, so adorable. But they all want me to die. They're smart too, luckily half the time they don't want to eat you, they just want to be left alone, or want what's in your cooler. Unless it's a polar bear. Then you better hope to God you got Coca-Colas in there. Which pedal is the go pedal and which is the stop? I did this and ruined my parents' car and garage. Just remember, if you can't remember which is which, you have a higher chance of keeping your license by bribing the police. Probably shouldn't be driving if you can't remember which is which. Probably shouldn't be a cop if you're easily bribed. Mute and turn off the camera when you're done interviewing. Tell that to Robert Durst. Context? He was being interviewed for a documentary about his missing wife. I think it was his wife, that I think he himself had set up. He was suspected of being responsible for numerous deaths over a decades-long span of time. Over the course of the recording it became more and more obvious that he had something to do with it. The interviewer brought up some new evidence that got Durst all flustered. I think it was a letter, so he excused himself to the bathroom to compose himself. What he didn't do was take off his mic, and while in the bathroom he essentially, while talking to himself, admitted to killing his wife. He said something like, "What have I done? I've killed her, that's what. I think it's called the jinx." Edit, my first award, thank you. Just to clarify, the incriminating evidence was a pair of letters that had exactly the same handwriting and the same misspelling of Beverly Hills. One letter was from Durst to Susan Berman and one was an anonymous letter to police alerting them of Berman's murder. This was new evidence unearthed during the documentary filming, so Durst didn't know about it. It was revealed to him on camera, which led to him taking the bathroom break and forgetting his mic was on. Thank you for giving context. You're welcome. It's more complex than what I wrote. It was more than just the murder of his wife that he was admitting to, but that was the general gist. He essentially gave himself up by not taking his mic off. Cleaning out your dryer vents regularly. If they become completely blocked, it can lead to a house fire. I saw this happen once. I came downstairs to the smell of smoke, and my buddy was furiously trying to put out the fire. Luckily it wasn't that big. A fire extinguisher is something you never want to have to look for. They're expensive, but it's worth having a few in very noticeable spots in the house. Would you say a fire extinguisher is dangerous to forget? A few years ago, while moving into a house I had rented with some friends, one of my roommates put his cigarette out and threw it in the completely full trash bin outside. Of course it started a garbage fire, so I grabbed the extinguisher off the wall and ran outside to put it out. When I squeezed the handle nothing came out, so I looked at the gauge and realized that it was empty. We ended up tipping the trash can over, and spilling the previous tenant's garbage all over the driveway to keep the fire from getting any bigger while we dumped water on it. Then we had to shovel all the wet garbage back in the trash can. I'd what the hell the previous tenants were doing in that house, but there were so many used condoms in that trash bin. I couldn't believe that the one time I got to use a fire extinguisher while sober, and to actually put out a fire, the ducking thing was empty. We took it into the leasing office to drop it off to have them refill it. They didn't believe when we told them that we didn't start a fire and that we were getting it refilled preemptively, but they obviously couldn't prove that we started a fire on our first day there. Keeping good dental hygiene really bites you later on if we're not careful. To turn off gas stove. That you shouldn't just mix whatever cleaning supplies you have available, some of it can form a deadly gas and kill you ASAP. Ammonia and chlorine bleach specifically. A very real danger. Also, don't put bleach cleaner in your toilet bowl without flushing. Release some ammonia in your waste, and even though it probably won't kill you, it probably won't feel good. Edit, I should clarify that you aren't going to create a chemical weapon with the teeny amount of ammonia in your pee. If you're passing out, it's probably more from the bleach fumes. Any possible gas created will be more of an irritant than deadly. Also learned, don't mix bleach and cat piss. Thank you all for telling me a lot of stories about accidentally peeing into bleach-filled bowls, bleaching your litter box, otherwise harming yourself with cleaning chemicals. And small animals would be very susceptible to lower levels. My cats love to hang in the bathroom, but whenever I deep clean I lock them out for at least a day because I'm paranoid of them getting a whiff of something toxic. I have a bird and I have to be very careful with the cleaners I use near to or in the room she's typically in. Pets are a lot smaller and much more sensitive to stuff in the air, just like you said. Therese, no harm in being paranoid, but there's harm in not being cautious enough. Installing a carbon monoxide detector. Oh shit, I need one of those. Plot twist, you already bought one but forgot because of amnesia from CO2 co-poisoning. Whether or not you took your meds for the day. I can never remember if I did, so to keep from taking them twice, I got one of those containers with a box for each day. Doesn't help me remember to take them though. Use an app. I use MyTherapy and it really helps. It alerts you when it's time and keeps track of when you've taken it. The master password to your digital vault. People have lost hundreds of millions of dollars from forgotten passwords. Edit, typo. I feel like I have internalized my master password in the same way that I have internalized the alphabet or simple math. I think I could get amnesia and it will be one of the things that I'll still remember. That you had something in the oven. Or the toaster. My sister once said to me, "Can you check the bread I put in the toaster?" When I opened the kitchen door, the smoke was so intense, I couldn't see more a couple of feet. Turns out, she put bread in the defective toaster some 20 minutes before asking me. It only took 2 hours to get rid of the smoke and a mere 2 weeks to get rid of the smell. Yeah, but how was the bread? It was toast. Ba dum TSS. Ba dum toast. Under the right circumstances, electricity can kill you instantly. And unless you're an electrician, you probably don't know what the right circumstances are. When the warning label on something reads inflammable, it means that it's highly flammable, it will burn easily, not otherwise. Flammable and inflammable are synonyms. This is a primary example of the stupidity of the English language. That you're driving. Oh shit, thanks for reminding me. Do not put water on a grease fire. Do not put water on a grease fire. It will make the fire grow. If you have a grease fire, place a metal lid or flat pan over the source of the fire to deprive it of oxygen. Turn off the heat source. If you can't do a lid, pour baking soda on it. Edit, also salt and damp dish towels, from commenters. Salt works really well too. You know that salt sprinkling meme guy? I'm just imagining me doing that, but over a big ass fire. Thanks for the tip, and the mental image. That the gun is loaded. You should always treat it like it is loaded. Exactly. I don't even own a gun and I know this shit. Edit, totally did not expect to get silver today or ever. Thank you, kind Redditor. I also don't own a gun, I don't even know anyone who owns a gun. Must have heard this many times before. Your parachute. You don't need a parachute to skydive, you just need a parachute to skydive twice. It's hard to argue with that assessment. Know what else is hard? The ground. Also the water, if you hit it after falling a good distance. What you are allergic to. There was a guy on Reddit that said though he was allergic to shellfish, he loved it. Said he used to take Benadryl before he'd have any. That stopped helping after a while, so he'd just bring his EpiPen when he went out for crab. Haven't heard any more from him in quite a while.